because there's not much empirical evidence. And some professor even said that it's an unsuitable subject for serious study because of that, not much practice evidence. Even there's a time in 1866, Linguistic Society of Paris banned the subject, and it influenced much of the Western world till the 20th century. But today we have numerous theories about origin, word, age, and it's actually known as the hardest problem in the science. Now let's take a look at the origins of language. All the theories pretty much divided into two theories. It means like pretty much all the other theories are based on these two assumptions. So first one is the continuity theories. It's based on the idea that the language is so complex, so it cannot be, one cannot imagine it simply appearing from nothing in final form. So they believe that it must have evolved from pre-linguistic systems from our ancestors. There's a good example. The terminologists actually made a research on the apes, such as chimpanzee, and they make a sound in reference to different foods. So they recorded the vocalization, the sound, and when the other chimpanzee heard about it, they would point out the grapes. For example, the grapes vocalization, they would point out the grapes. And these continuity theories are based on the opposite idea, which is it cannot be compared to anything that found in humans, and they believe that it must have fairly suddenly appeared, and it's triggered the instantaneous emergence of language faculty in a perfect form. And the proponents of discontinuity theories, they argue about the single chess mutation occurred in one individual 100 years ago, and it triggered the instantaneous faculty, language faculty. All right, and there's some theories about the language vowel. It's the cries of the beast, and birds, and poo-poo, and ding-dong, and some of the primal, what could be the primal language. Early Homo was the one of the primal language. It appeared 2.5 million years ago. But according to linguistic professor John Nichols, he believed that the current spread and the diversity of modern language appeared 100,000 years ago. So now we're going to talk about the modern language. How many languages are there in the world? Well, it's very hard to answer this question because before you start counting it, you have to solve some problems such as what can be defined as a separate language, and how many people must speak the language in order to count it as a language. It can be a very long list, but according to the Linguistic Society of America, we nearly have 6,800 languages in the world. And there are some languages that are widely spoken in the world. English, Russian, Arabic, Chinese, of course, Spanish. And the number statistics, English, about 400 million. Alright. Now we're going to talk about the future, the language, what will happen in the future. From time to time, different languages disappear. It's a big reason is the globalization. People start learning a different language because they think it's useful. Another one is they assimilate the language with other people. And when the language is dead, the world dies with it. The tradition, culture, the knowledge, everything will be lost. The most striking example of the dead language is the Latin language. And there's a typical sample. In North America, there are 165 indigenous languages, but only 8 of them is spoken by the 10,000 people, and 75 of them spoken by a handful of older people, and the rest of them is vanished. When a group of people abandon their own language, they choose to from speaking a different language. It's because it's for another. Generally, it's more advantaged, economically advantaged to them. So why should we question the wisdom of choice? Thank you for your attention. machine. Today we talked about origin of language in the present, how many languages are there in the world, and what will happen with the language in the future. I forgot to tell you one more thing. It's, as you can see, the Dad Harrison, he predicts that by 2050, 90% of the language will be dead. Thank you.